Karnataka Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa is expanding his cabinet right now. That ceremony is happening at Bhavan in Bengaluru. In this cabinet expansion, 7 ministers are being inducted. 1 minister has been dropped and 1 post is kept vacant. Those are the live shots from the Bhavan, where the cabinet expansion, which began at 3:50, is taking place right now. All right, as we stay on these live pictures, let's go across to Maya Sharma joining us live from Bengaluru. Maya, explain to us how Mr. Yediyurappa is balancing his old loyalists with the JDS Congress rebels.
Well, yes, it was a balancing act all along. There were 3 pressures actually. The people the centre wanted, the people Mr. B.S. Yediyurappa wanted, and also the need to reward those from the JDS and the Congress who, by switching over to the BJP from their original parties, made the formation of this BJP government possible in the first place. So we, of course, have Umesh Katti, Arvind Limbavali, Murugesh Nirani seen as very close to B.S. Yediyurappa. So it certainly would seem that the selection was largely in his favour. He had a large say in the selection of these ministers. S Angara is seen as a choice of the centre. All of these were originally with the BJP, even before the collapse of the coalition government. So they have now been elevated to the post of ministers. We have MTB Nagaraj also, who was a former Congress MLA, a fantastically rich man, extremely rich, hundreds of crores. Now, he, of course, was among the rebels who went to Mumbai, who were holed up in a hotel there, came back. He stood for a by-election in Hoskote for his old seat, but he did lose that. But he was nominated to the council, and from the Legislative Council, he has now been appointed as a minister. CP Yogeshwar had joined the BJP from the Congress earlier as well. So he was earlier a Congress person, but he has been with the BJP for a while now. Shankar was an independent with the coalition government. He was in fact made a minister just before the coalition government collapsed. He is known sometimes as Pendulum Shankar because he does tend to swing between loyalties to different parties. He was an independent, and he's also being rewarded for transferring his support from the coalition government to the BJP. So the swearing in going on right now. In fact, we've had Umesh Katti and Arvind Limbavali sworn in already. It's being done one by one as these ministers new ministers take oath. 7 of them today, leaving 1 vacancy. Always useful to have 1 vacancy in order to keep the troops quiet. 1 minister, sitting minister Nagesh, has in fact been dropped. So there is that 1 vacancy with 7 people taken in today. So 7 of these men taken in, 3 of them definitely Yediyurappa loyalists. So if it comes to the choice, it does seem to really have gone Mr. Yediyurappa's way. It has, of course, been almost 1.5 years since B.S. Yediyurappa took over as Chief Minister. And these cabinet woes began at the very start of his rule. When he came in, he was alone. He had no cabinet colleagues for several days. Soon after his swearing in, he went to Delhi, and Amit Shah reportedly sent him back because Karnataka was facing a flood at that time. And he said, you go back, look after the flood situation, then we'll talk about cabinet expansion. Mr. Yediyurappa has made several trips to Delhi for precisely the purpose of clearing names for cabinet expansion. The most recently, just last Sunday, he did meet Amit Shah, and it did seem to be the final meeting which actually did the trick.
Yes.
But of course, there has been a media crowd here at the Bhavan as well.